Hey, things are always heating up in sports, though, and we're so glad, we're so blessed to have an expert on hand. It is Father Matt Frisbee and a sports roundup. Good morning, Father Matt.
Well, good morning, Ron and Dave. Good to be with you and all our listeners this morning and whenever they listen. And, you know, as I said last week, we kind of enter a little bit into a sports desert here as the football season has ended. We are approaching spring training for baseball. You know, the Guardians, Indians, Tribe, they have their first spring training game this upcoming Saturday, I think it is, against the Reds, which is just interesting in and of itself because, of course, Cleveland's former manager, Terry Francona, is now the manager of the Reds.
That's right, yeah.
Little something, that's right. So a little something there. So baseball's approaching, although, you know, you can only talk about spring training for so much. But, you know, with baseball, we could talk the Tigers really briefly here. There was all this talk about them possibly signing Alex Bregman, the former Astros, one of Dave's favorite teams, former Astros third baseman. You know, so it looked like maybe the Tigers were trying to go all in, but instead he signed with the Red Sox. So he will not be in Detroit, which as a Cleveland fan, I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
I'm sure our friends who are Tigers fans are not so happy about that.
Well, and one other big story, Father, I wanted to ask you about. You remember after Ohio State was beaten by Michigan, I said what we really need to do is give Ryan Day an extension and give him a raise. And now that's finally come to pass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, big extension, big payday for him. And that's right. You know, a lot of wonders will happen when you win a national championship, that's for sure. And, you know, it should be noted, I mean, just basking in the glow of that national championship, that, you know, this was no fluke. You know, they won four big games in a row right there against some quality opponents. So, you know, he's got the extension. He continues on. A lot of turnover in the coaching staff for Ohio State. New defensive coordinator, you know, that's a big talk there. Jim Knowles, the former defensive coordinator, went to Penn State. And, you know, a little surprisingly here, they've hired the former Lions head coach and former Patriots defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, who is a polarizing figure. So we'll kind of see what happens there for the Buckeyes with a new man in charge of the defense for the Buckeyes.
But your thoughts on that, Father? I mean, look, he was considered the defensive genius for years, right? So he brings a lot of success, and then recently, not such great success.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to take a wait and see approach to this. I was very surprised by the hire. You know, any defensive coach who coached under Belichick, you always kind of question how much of it was it Belichick or how much was it, say, Matt Patricia here?
Oh, yeah.
You know, hard to say there. So we're going to kind of find out. But you're right. He was considered a very smart guy. And in Detroit, it did not work out so well as head coach. Of course, that's always a different game when you're the head coach. But, you know, I think part of that, too, there was kind of seen as maybe a caustic personality. So Ryan Day certainly does set the tone, especially with culture, and he is not, at least publicly, very much seen as a caustic personality. So we'll kind of see what happens there.
And I kind of like this idea that back in the day, all the head coaches who had difficulty would go and be rehabilitated by Nick Saban. It seems that Ryan Day is that guy now.
Certainly it does seem that way. Chip Kelly is an example now. He didn't go on to be a head coach, but he's taken a job as offensive coordinator with the Raiders. And, so we'll see if that'll happen here with Matt Patricia. You know, the great example from Nick Saban's day, really two guys, Lane Kiffin, who was seen as a little toxic, and Steve Sarkisian, who had some struggles with alcoholism, and both rehabilitated, both very successful now, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and Steve Sarkisian at Texas, of course. So, I mean, kind of we see this happening now with Ryan Day, and hopefully it works out for the Buckeyes.
Myles Garrett, real quickly, Father, any thoughts on what's going on there?
No. I think other than the Browns have said they have no intentions on trading him. And, unless you really get the value you think you should for such a caliber player, I don't see it happening now. As I was talking to someone last night, maybe it happens right before the trade deadline in this upcoming season where there's a contender who really wants him, and maybe you get the value you want for him then. But until then, who knows?
Any chance we see Aaron Rodgers in a Cleveland uniform?
I doubt that one.
Yeah.
I doubt that big time.
Might be fun for a little entertainment.
Yeah. It'll be photoshopped. Just watch. Father Matt, thank you so much. Always an eye on sports, even during these in-between seasons like this. So thanks for bringing us those insights, and go Tribe. We know that spring training underway. Have a great day.
God bless.